Welcome to Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. I'm so glad you joined me today. Let's get started. Today, I wanted to just talk about a few different things. Let's see, it's Christmas time. There's a lot going on. And I had a virtual appointment with my doctor today, so kind of have a health update also. So yeah, I'm still doing a bunch of research trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do for my Hashimoto's. I am finally, after several years, fed up with feeling like this, and I am ready to do something about it. And I'm scared because I'm not great with drastic changes, especially with what I eat. But something's got to change. I've been listening to a lot of Trim Healthy Mama podcasts. I used to do that plan. I've done it off and on over the past, I don't know, probably 10, 13 years. And and I've also been listening to Dr. Heather Stone. She has a thyroid masterclass that she does a few times a year. I've listened to it once before, but she cuts out a lot of food groups, and I just don't know if I'm ready to completely jump on that. She also offers testing if you can have an address available in one of the states that she's licensed in and have the amount of money that it takes to do the tests, which it's cheaper through her than it would be on your own. So if you have Hashimoto's or thyroid issues, she would be one to look up and look into. She's real great. She had Hashimoto's or thyroid issues at least, and she's healed herself of that and lost a bunch of weight and has maintained her health for years. I think she said she was gluten free for about 20 years, and that's where I'm at. I know I need to cut out gluten, and like she reiterated, sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm still coughing a lot. She said she had to finally get it through her head that gluten for her, in her mind, would be the same as rat poison in order for her to quit feeling sorry for herself that she couldn't eat certain things. Because if you do have a thyroid issue, then you do have a gluten issue. You might not have, celiac disease or anything like that, but you do have a sensitivity to gluten if you have a thyroid. And everybody has told me that. I've heard that a million times since I've found out that I have Hashimoto's, and I've tried before to cut it out. It's just really hard. Like I said, I am a homeschool mom. I have a lot going on. Matter of fact, I was overwhelming myself today just thinking about my schedule, and we're taking December off of school, so that's not even counting school. My schedule is stressing me out, and so adding on worrying about food and being stuck in the kitchen, because a lot of times when you change your diet, you can't just quickly grab something. You have to cook it or have it made ahead. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm rereading my Trim Healthy Mama plan book, and I am starting a meal plan and a grocery list so that I can kind of set myself up for success instead of getting behind and stressing out and running out of time. And also I need to remember to cut myself a little bit of slack at the same time. Not expect 100% perfection. If the good thing with Trim Healthy Mama is if you do mess up, your next meal is when you get back on and correct it. And they're big on having that be your mindset, so that you're not just like, oh, well, I screwed up and now I'm done, and just go back to eating all the crap that I used to eat. And I've done that before. It's hectic. I'm hoping that now that the kids are older, because they were young the last few times that I've tried it, and I'm hoping that now that they're older, I can have a little more time to do this. My daughter actually wants to do it with me mostly, and I'm gonna have to cut myself slack on the weekends, especially Sunday. Maybe not so much on Saturday, but Sunday, like I said, I work at my church. I'm exhausted and starving by the time I get out of there. And yeah, so I will cut myself some slack, but try to find a healthier, quick option on Sundays when I grab lunch for everybody. But after watching Dr. Heather's masterclass and, rereading The Trim Healthy Mama, I just realized how much I need to do this. And you can tell by looking at my face. I have inflammation, like bad, in my body. And eating the wrong things just keeps that cycle going. And it's miserable. It's not fun. I have no energy. That was the thing that I was reiterating to my doctor today. We got my labs back, and like I said last week, my antibodies were up, my TSH was up instead of down. The rest of my numbers were okay, but those two things are what cause you to feel like crap. And I'm tired of feeling like that. I really need energy. I go my entire day feeling like I push myself for every little thing that I do because I have no energy whatsoever. So every single thing that I have, and my days are pretty much packed with things. I'm not always necessarily up doing something strenuous, but I am constantly doing something. And it's getting where it's really hard. While watching the Trim Healthy Mama videos, they had recommended, because they've had thyroid issues, and they said that on top of their thyroid medication, they take a T3 pill. And I asked my doctor about that, and she said, yeah, that might help you. So I am going to go pick that up tonight after the kids practice for their Christmas program. I'm going to leave them at church, and I am going to run and pick that up, and I am praying that helps me, because, tomorrow I have a busy schedule too, so it would be really great if I could have some more energy doing that. Also, with watching the masterclass and going back and doing the homework my doctor had told me about like a long time ago, and I haven't finished, but I was looking at Dr. Wentz's Hashimoto's Root Cause book, and looking at the testing that she recommends, because the big thing with Hashimoto's is everyone gives you supplements, you get on thyroid medication, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. It's not getting to the root cause of the problem, and until you figure out what that is and address that, then all you're doing is keeping your head above water and not utterly drowning. And so she recommended a gut protocol that I am going to try. I'll probably have to wait till after Christmas is over. You can't spend extra money at Christmas, and to get those two medications, it's going to be a little over $100. So after Christmas, I will try to start that. She said sometimes that will help and that will heal, and with me changing what I'm going to eat and eating better, then it might work. But the alternative is I think she said it was GI mapping, and That's a stool sample, and it's like $400 something, and you only have to pay half up front, thankfully. Um, so that may be something I have to do after the first of the year. But she also said that because upping my medication in September was supposed to help my numbers go down on my TSH and my antibodies, but instead they've gone up. She said, so she changed me from MP thyroid to Armor, and because she said some people just react differently, even though they're supposed to be the same thing. Some people react differently, and so she's going to put me on that, and then see in 6 to 8 weeks. She said if I don't respond to that, then it's probably a gut issue and I'm not absorbing the medication, which I'm praying that my body just responds to the Armor and I can get some help and have some energy. So yeah, I'm going to try to set myself up for success. And once I get a meal plan down and a grocery list down, I might actually go into more detail on that for anybody that's interested in doing Trim Healthy Mama. I say it's easy because I've done it a few times, but it really isn't super complicated. You just have to learn what is a fat and what's a good carb, and then keep them separate. And the big thing there is no white flour. But that's what I need because I have to go gluten-free, and it's very easy to go gluten-free on this plan. Like, they have a lot of bread recipes, and they even have a baking blend that I just bought a new package of recently because I knew I was going to be starting this. And you can make little breads that will be on plan to get you through. And I actually like the taste of that. They have one called Bread in a Mug, and when you first make it, it looks really gross. But if you cut it in slices and toast it, it's really good. And you're allowed to put butter on it if you're having a meal with fats in it. And usually I make it to go with eggs and bacon. So that would be a fats meal. And it's actually really good because it's made with flaxseed flour and almond flour. And so you kind of get the toasted nut flavor when you toast it. So it's really good. So I might go into more detail on that on another podcast when I get that nailed down. I'm hoping to get to do that and get started. And I'm going to really, they have what's called a drive-through Sue in their book, which is one of the sisters. She is more that, which is, I don't have time to sit there and make my own bread all the time. I don't have time to be in the kitchen and cooking constantly. And so there's little tweaks you can do and just things to make it easier. So once I get that down, I will probably go into more detail about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, with dealing with a narcissist. I've said, I've moved past the anger phase with my mom. But for anyone dealing with a narcissist where you can't just cut them out of your life, if it was a boyfriend or something, you can break up with them and kind of move on, but it's my mother. And I don't want to cut her out of my life completely. That was not fair to my kids to do that either. But I will say it's draining and it's crazy. I am so thankful to know now what I know about her, because before it used to confuse me and worry me, and it would stress me out when she does this. I went over to her house last month sometime, and she was definitely love bombing, like acting nicey and all great, and oh, here's some money to buy a pair of shoes, and well, I appreciate that. That's great. And I was fine, and I was nice to her, and I talked. But she still had the backhanded comments. I mentioned that in a past episode. But since then, that didn't work, and it didn't pull me in like she wanted. Or she thinks that it did. I'm not sure which. But she kind of flipped a switch. And the other day called me I'm not going to go into details because it's not my story to tell, but we haven't talked to my mother-in-law in over a decade, or about a decade. And she still talks to my mom. She's cut off communication to me, but she still talks to my mom a lot. And my mom was calling me for advice on how she should advise her. And so I told her, and made the comment, that we had gotten into it on Messenger, and she blocked me on Facebook before my mother-in-law did. And so my mom made the comment, well, you blocked me. So in other words, I got what I gave, which wasn't true. My mother-in-law did that a long time ago. And I did not block my mom on Facebook. I just made it where she couldn't comment on my posts. I don't know if she can see them. She might not even be able to see them. But we're still friends on Facebook, and I can still see her stuff. And can't remember. So I tried to go back and look. I don't know if she can see my stuff. I know for a fact she can't comment on it, though, because I was trying not to have the blow up that I ended up having with my mother-in-law, because my mother-in-law was posting pictures like everything was, yay, we're this great happy family that gets along, and that wasn't true. And all I did was make a little comment about, that we hadn't seen each other in how many years. And she didn't like that, and so she private messaged me, and then that was the whole thing. And anyway, she blocked me. Well, with my mom, she said she was no longer coming to our kids' birthday parties or any birthday parties. And the first birthday party after she had said that, I had still told her when the birthday parties were, but she made it some excuse, or ignored it for a while, and they weren't coming. But when I posted pictures of the birthday party on Facebook, she commented and said, oh, sorry, we couldn't come. It looks like it was a fun party. All this fake. like, one, you could have come. You chose not to. And two, don't sit there and act like you think it was fun, because that's one of the reasons you're not coming. And, but rather than call her out publicly like I had my mother-in-law, I just blocked her from being able to comment. I may have blocked her from being able to see my stuff. It might be why she thinks that we're blocked, but if she looks at her friends list, I'm still on there. But I did block her from seeing it because, well, if you're going to twist things in my life and, comment lies, then I don't want you to. I'll let you know what I want you to know about my life, and you don't need to know anything else. And that's kind of where I was with that. But so she had to make that little dig, and she said some other things I can't remember. Definitely won't get into it here, but she definitely was not the same tone or the same voice, the same response as it was when we were over at her house and she was trying to love bomb us. And I expected it. I knew it was going to happen. That's why I don't give her anything, and I don't do anything anymore, because before it would have upset me. I would have been stressed out, worried. Oh, what did I do wrong? Which is what she wants you to think, so that you can feed her with emotion. It's crazy and it's annoying, but it is what it is, I guess. Oh, with Christmas coming up, I was going to talk about a few traditions that we have. Used to, growing up, we always opened a Christmas Eve present. So we've done that with our kids too. Typically it's pajamas. Shh, don't tell. But typically that's what it is. And so they get to wear something that night. We also open our stockings Christmas Eve. And that was my husband's idea. So when my husband and I got together, I can't remember if that's what they did in his family, or if it was just that, you know, something fun to do for Christmas Eve. And so that's what we do now. And Christmas morning, of course, is Santa Claus. And then we open. So we're not going to go anywhere Christmas Day this year. We used to go to my mom's Christmas Eve and Christmas. And my husband was already getting tired of that when all of this happened. So that kind of came at a good time, because we were about to not come anytime but Christmas Eve anyway. And then Christmas night, we save one present for Christmas night. Typically, I buy something special for that night, something to get them to look forward to going to bed with, or something fun to do before bed. Sometimes I get Nerf guns for my husband and the kids to play with Christmas Eve night, and they will have a Nerf war for like an hour or two before we go to bed. But we try to do something like that, because my husband and I both used to get really depressed Christmas night. We're like, the whole day was fun, the build up of months of planning for Christmas, and then there's a letdown, kind of a depressing letdown on Christmas night. So we save one gift a piece for that, and that's always fun. And I make there's a raspberry pastry dish that you can shape to look like a candy cane, and I always make that for breakfast on Christmas morning. At my mom's house, let me tell you, my mom is very fun for kids on some occasions, because she acts like a kid on a lot of occasions. But Christmas, and this is probably going to sound strange, but Christmas, they live out in the country. There's fields all around them. There's usually cows in some of the fields, but they also have 2 donkeys. And so for, I don't know how many years, probably decades now, we go out and we sing Christmas carols to the cows and the donkeys. The kids love it. You're just out there, sometimes you're freezing cold and you only sing a couple of songs. But when my grandparents were alive, I loved that. My grandma would stay inside typically, especially when she got older, because she was really thin and she would get really cold real fast. But she would go to wherever we were and look out the door where there's a candle in the window, and she would peek out and wave to us and listen to us sing. And so we would sing to her, and I do miss getting to do that. But the kids love getting to go out and do that, and seeing my mom's place all decorated for Christmas. And my brother has a barn, and they'll go out and get hot cocoa and candy canes and stuff like that. And so they have a blast. So this year we'll have to do that the day before Christmas Eve, because Christmas Eve is on a Sunday this year, which is better than Christmas being on Sunday. Oh my goodness, pulling the kids away from their presents last year to go to church was hard. But because I didn't want to skip Christmas, the whole reason for Christmas is the birth of Jesus. So it would be pretty bad to miss church on Christmas if you had that chance. So we went, but it was really hard to pull the kids away. So that's all I had today. I am going to talk soon about some of the books that I'm reading right now. And I might do this like once a month, once every couple of months, depending on how fast I get to read these books. Because I usually have 4 or 5 books going at one time. And that's crazy, I know. But like I have one book I read when my son's at jiu-jitsu. One I usually only get to read on the weekends because I'm trying to go to bed early and trying to get sleepy early so I can get up and go get ready for church. One I read on my iPad at night, and sometimes there's 1 or 2 others. Always the health books on top of everything else. And so I will be talking about those. 2 of them actually are historical. No, wait. They're all 3 historical. Imagine that. One has to do with one of my ancestors. One is something I got interested in because of my cousin's wife, and I've been studying that. So the second one is actually related to that one. So I might go into details about that next week. I need to hurry up and finish those because I asked for a few books for Christmas, and judging by the shape of some of the packages, I may have gotten 1 or 2 of them. So I need to hurry up and wrap up those books. So I'll probably talk about those and maybe continue doing that once every little while if y'all are interested in it. I have not had time to do any ancestry research lately. I've just been so busy. Not only that, but with nobody answering me back on my messages, I have kind of hit some brick walls, and I haven't had the time to spend trying to push through them. And my husband had some new matches show up on 23andMe. I need to get back and see if anybody's messaged me back. But 23andMe had that data breach, and so they have shut down the shared ancestors or shared matches list, and so there's not a whole lot of research I can do on there right now. But I will get back. I go through phases. If I hit a brick wall, sometimes I get frustrated and I take a little time off, especially if I get busy. But I will be back on there, and I will talk about what I'm finding as soon as I find something. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will, like I said, be back next Thursday and talk about the books I'm reading. And thank you for joining me today on Life and DNA. Join me next Thursday when we'll discuss the books that I'm reading right now and everything else that's going on in life. And if you wouldn't mind, please rate and leave me a review on this podcast. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.